Hi guys, welcome back to the Crafty Maven. This is Free Flow Wednesday, and here's the inspiration piece. And really from that inspiration, what I was most excited about is kind of that kind of art deco-y looking pattern and a little bit of the colors, little bit of the blue. So I remember I had this paper collection in my stash, or this paper kit, and it's from not Simple Stories, I'm sorry. Scraptastic, and it just reminded me of the inspiration piece, mostly from the pattern of the leaves. And there is some leaves in this kit, although I don't really use a lot of it. It's mostly from the background, but I do use a little bit of it in here, and that's kind of what kind of drew me to this kit. So I was just looking through my photos. I was having a tough time trying to figure out which ones I wanted to use, and I finally settled on the two that you just saw. And I am cutting out the middle of this paper, and I really like this paper. It is just really pretty colors. I don't do a lot of earthy tones like this because I kind of find them a little bit dull and boring to me. I like a little bit more bright and cheery colors, but I wanted to kind of challenge myself to use this kit because it is fall, and I thought the photos of this bed and breakfast that me and my husband went to were the perfect match for this paper kit. So, like I said, these are the two photos that I'm going to use, and I am going to play around a lot. So I ended up cutting out a lot of me playing around with the photos and the placement and all that. So I just kind of fast forwarded over to me adding this border down, and instead of putting the border behind the blue piece of cardstock, I ended up putting it on top, and then I saw more of that colored border. Before, when I had it the other way, I couldn't see as much of the border, and I didn't like it as much, so I wanted to have more of this pretty border of the scallop and colors showing. So now I'm just taking some clear gesso from Liquitex. It's from Michaels, and I'm just smearing it all over this page because I am going to do a little bit of mixed media just with one color of, what is it called, mist. And so I'm just adding the Liquitex down and using my key card from a hotel just to get that smeared all over the page, and then I'll let it dry, and then before I put the mist on, I'll have it dried up. And the mist that I'm going to be using today is called Opal Sea Oats, and it's from Lindy's Stamp Gang. It's a really pretty bronzish, I can't talk today, goodness gracious, bronze-ish copper kind of brown color that I really thought was pretty with this collection. So I'm just going to spray it on this piece of plastic, and I'm going to smoosh it around the entire layout here and just kind of getting that color all around. And I kind of wanted it just all over the background. I didn't want it in any one specific place. I just kind of wanted it everywhere. So you're going to see me kind of just smearing it around with the plastic bag to get it kind of pretty much all over the place. And you can see it wasn't really laying nicely on the plastic. It was just beating up in one big blob. So I just rolled with it and just kind of got it everywhere. And you can already see the iridescent look of this shimmer spray. I absolutely love this one. Like I said, it's from Lindy's Stamp Gang, and you'll see I'm had some pictures and my paper ready to go, but it just wasn't going to work. It was a little bit too big of a piece, so I'm going to end up just putting the pictures down and then matting them a little bit closer in. So now I'm just taking my water brush and adding some more of the shimmer in places, just so that when I put my photos down, it won't all be covered up by my photos and my paper. So I'm just kind of taking that water brush and just smearing it around just in the places where I thought it needed a little bit of extra. So once I'm done with that, I will let the background dry before I put my photos down. And I'm going to clean this piece of plastic up real quick. And then I'm going to be back to the layout, and it's nice and dry now. I'm always worried about my photos and my paper and everything getting color on the back of them and me smearing it all over the front of the photo. So I'm just being a little bit more careful and letting it dry. So here I'm going to be fussing around with these layers again and trying to figure out, and then that's that paper, that yellow paper with the yellow leaves on it. That's kind of what I remembered from this kit, and that's what drew me to it based on the inspiration piece. And like I said earlier, I'm just using a little bit of a border, but I like the little pop of yellow that it gives. And I'm going to use it in two places, and I don't have quite enough for this whole photo, but it'll end up working out just fine. You'll see kind of how I make that work here in a little bit. And then I'm using that chevron piece as kind of a base that the other photos are going to lay on. And I think I may end up taking that chevron piece away, but that's kind of what my plan was to begin with, is to use it as a base. And now I'm just going to be looking through my stash trying to find a little bit more scraps and pieces that will work, just kind of layering it up to give it some more dimension and things like that. So I'm going to use a bit of this chevron paper to back the photo with. And instead of basically using it as kind of a layer, a full bigger piece in the back, I'm just going to be matting the photo. Yeah, so I ended up doing that instead. I couldn't quite remember. So I'm just going to trim this off with my scissors and then just start fussing with the layers, trying to figure out, should I have one picture over the other? Should I have them by themselves independently so they're not touching? And I'm ultimately going to put one on top of the other with the top one just a little bit to the left of the bottom one. And I really did struggle with this layout. I don't know if it was the colors that weren't really inspiring me, or I don't know. I just was really having some tough time with this layout. I really fussed a lot, and I kind of cut that out because the video was going to be very, very long. But I don't know. I don't know. I know all layouts can't be your favorite, but in the end, I do like how it turned out, but it just gave me a tough time. I do love this sheet of stickers and this one as well, so I was pretty excited about using this. I like sticker sheets that have these big chunky stickers, and I do really like the sleeve with the acorns, but I'm going to end up, I think, choosing some. Oh no, I'm going to keep the acorn one, I'm sorry. And the houses were perfect because we did stay in a bed and breakfast that looks like this big, beautiful, like kind of farmhouse, and that's what that picture is in the top photo. That's the little house that we stayed in, or the big house. It's a huge hotel, or huge for, old time's sake, I guess. It's, really, really cool. And so I'm going to fuss around with some of these layers, and I'm going to really ultimately end up with the acorns. And like I said, I really like those houses that I put in the bottom right hand corner. I'm going to use this piece of acetate kind of back here behind the the houses. And then I'm going to start fishing around for some other stickers and embellishments to use. I am going to use these wood veneer pieces, and they're both hearts, and they have kind of a crisscross pattern with little dots in them on the top left. And I think the bottom right one is just like a checkerboard pattern. And I will end up using those, I believe. And then now I'm just trying to figure out a few more layers to place underneath some of the other pieces. And I kind of wanted to use these feathers, but they just weren't going to work. They just didn't look right on the page, didn't fit in with the theme or kind of what I was looking for. So I end up scrapping that idea and looking at some other things. And here is a little border strip, and I think I only had a 1 and a 2 left on this time, so I just trimmed it out to make it look like 2 arrows, because I wanted your eye to kind of point from the left side of the page into the right, kind of to take you across to the top hotel picture, and then to the bottom picture of me, and then finally down to the houses on the bottom right. So I thought that those arrows gave the layout some movement. I'm going to add that thankful sticker right there. And I'm not going to end up using that banner. It's just not going to work in that area, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure I take that out. That and symbol is going to go up there. It's kind of a bluish greenish color with an orange and kind of off-white cream ampersand. And here I'm just taking off the protective plastic backing on here, and then I'll stick that back down underneath those houses on the bottom right. And it was giving me a little bit of a tough time trying to get that off. And I'm just going to use a little bit of my ATG gun. You're not going to see the adhesive because I'm putting it underneath the photo, so I thought that was a good option for there. So now I am, I believe, going to start gluing everything down because I'm pretty happy with kind of where everything is. So you're going to see me adding the glue on all the items. And because I use clear gesso on the back, you do have to use some more adhesive. The clear gesso I use, and maybe all the clear gesso is like this, it's got a bit of a grit to it, so you really have to put a lot of adhesive or use a liquid adhesive when you are trying to attach stickers and things to make sure they actually stay in place. And that's what I would recommend. Sometimes the dot adhesive runners and things like that just don't stick very well, so you want to make sure all of your little embellishments and such aren't falling off your page after a certain amount of time. And here are some dimensional letter stickers that I'm going to be using, and I'm ultimately going to say spell out fave bed and breakfast, and I just like how that F-A-V tucked in between the B and the D on the bed. So I really like how that looked. And then I popped up the acorn and some other elements just to give it a little bit more dimension on the page. And now I'm going to use some of that liquid adhesive that I was telling you guys about earlier to make sure that those pieces really do stick onto the background that has the gesso on it. And I'm just using my Scotch Quick Dry liquid glue in my fine liner bottle to put that on. Now I decided I needed to do some journaling, but there really wasn't a place on the page now that I have all that stuff there. So I am going to make my own tag, and I'm just kind of drawing it out with pencil, and then I'm just going to trim out the tag, and I'm using my mat, my grid mat, that black mat underneath, to make sure I have even edges. And then I will poke a hole or punch a hole in the top middle of that tag, and that will be the perfect place to add journaling, because like I said, there really wasn't much room left, and I wanted to add a little bit of information about this day. So I am going to take my Sharpie marker and outline the whole edge of the tag, because I thought it gave it a little bit more dimension. I felt like it was going to get kind of lost on the page tucked in there where I'm putting it, so I thought having that edge is going to look better. Oh, and I'm sorry, it's not a Sharpie marker, it's my precision pen. I'm having a heck of a time talking today, I'm sorry, to do the outline, and I'm going to use my Sharpie pen to do the journaling. The Sharpie pens are probably one of my favorite pens to do journaling with. I just really like how they write. So stay tuned for the photos at the end. If you haven't already, please come over and join us on our Facebook group at the Crafty Maven Getaway. We have little things going up every day and questions and things about our layouts, and if you would like to post pictures of your layouts, we would love to see what inspiration you have taken from the layouts on the channel. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And any questions you might have, just leave those in the comments below. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.